Kalispera σας, kalispera σε όλους. Hey everyone, welcome and thank you for watching. I am Adéọlá Naomi Adérè, and we would do this discussion in two languages, so primarily in English, and then if any question is asked in Greek, we will continue in Greek. It's okay, so I have to be a bit emotional. It's the first time seeing it out with everyone and being able to come back with the people that made this possible. Jerome, Kaluta, Jessica, thank you so much for joining us for the discussion. And honestly, thank you to all the Afro Greek communities, because this is not my story. This is not only Jessica's story. This is our story, and this is for us. And I don't want to cry. I just want to say it also in Greek for my people. So I've tried not to cry, because watching it again with everyone just made me emotional. So thank you so much to the State of Concept for having us to have this conversation. And yeah, to have this conversation by ourselves, because υπάρχει αυτό που λέμε ότι θες να μιλάς για τον άλλον χωρίς να ξέρεις ποιος είναι. Τι γίνεται, δηλαδή είναι αυτό που ο καθένας στην ιστορία λες ότι μπορεί ο καθένας να σου γράψει την ιστορία σου, αλλά αν δεν σε αφήνει να πεις εσύ την ιστορία σου, πάντα δεν θα είναι το ίδιο. Δηλαδή υπάρχει η perception που έχει ο κόσμος και υπάρχει η πραγματικότητα. Και αυτό ήθελα να κάνω, δηλαδή να μπορούμε εμείς να πούμε την δικιά μας ιστορία, εμείς να πούμε τι ζούμε ακριβώς στην Ελλάδα σαν Αφροέλληνας, ή όπως θα πει ο Jerome, Afro-Greek, πώς ζούμε, τι ζούμε. Οπότε σας ευχαριστώ όλους που το βλέπετε. Μπορείτε να μας στείλετε τις ερωτήσεις σας. Θέλω πρώτα να πω στα παιδιά, τι κάνετε?
Καλά.
Okay, so we're
Είμαστε
going
πολύ χαρούμενοι που είμαστε εδώ. Πολύ χαρούμενοι.
Just to say a quick question is that I was talking about when people tell your story, it's their perception of your story. It's not your story. And there's always a need for people to tell stories of others, because we have this thing of like, I'm observing people. But what happened to the person being observed? Do you actually live their life? And the reason for this film is that people to hone our own story, because it's our story. It's not even my story. It's not Jerome's story. It's all of our stories. And we appreciate the fact that people want to tell our story or observe and study us, but we can study ourselves. We can tell our own story. So tonight, I'm very emotional to have Jerome here and Jessica. So I want to ask them first, how is their heart doing after watching this? How is it?
Ladies first.
Το ξέρω το τελείω. Πολλές φορές δεν θέλουμε. Sometimes we don't want ladies first. So, my experience, should I speak in English or in Greek?
You can do English, and I'm sure that, just to say for house rule, like everybody speak English, and if we need to answer some question in Greek, it will be in Greek, and I will translate quickly.
Okay, so my English so far by watching the video, my English, hey,
okay,
my experience so far, you can see, so my feelings so far by watching the video is, I couldn't remember what I said that day, because it's been a long time, and I wanted to like see what I said, if I said it right. And to be honest with you, because time has passed, like a lot of things has changed ever since the video. I feel like if the video has to be remade, like I would say more, and I would have expressed it in a better way. So watching this video, obviously, you know, I like the fact that my energy and whatever I'm feeling could show through the video. Like my personality, there's nothing cut up, there's nothing played as a role, let's say. So I like when I first like watching this video, the first thing I thought of is, okay, I am super proud that someone, you know, that is just like us, Afro Greek as well, is the one coordinating this thing, is the one being in charge of this video and this documentary. And that was my first, like, I was just like, yeah, you know, yeah, she did it. She did it. And then the second one is that I wish it was more, because I know there are a lot of other people that have things to say. And you picked like some good points. You had some, short but nice. How am I going to say it? So the only thing I would say is, if I had a chance, I would say more. Like, I would express myself better, because obviously the more the years passes by, you have different experiences and you have better ways to express yourself. But apart from that, I'm super glad with the video. I am, first of all, είμαι ευχαριστημένη. Και αυτό μπορώ να πω μέχρι στιγμής. Έπειτα θα τα πούμε και τα υπόλοιπα. I'll say the remaining later on.
Thank you. Jerome, τι κάνεις? How are you?
Είμαι καλά. I'm okay. I'm glad and I'm grateful. Yeah, it's been a long time. I was like, what day it was? And, it seems like it's been a long time, but at the same time, it's an old story. For many people, it's new. It's still new. I don't know if it's unfortunate or fortunate, but it's still new. We are still talking about new things, new stuff, because we are new people, the Afro-Greeks, the Afro-Greeks. We are new. It's something that people haven't really experienced and got. They're not used to that. So we are talking about things that people that are watching us now, they are getting acquainted to. So it was like, I was touched. It was, the feeling, it was like you had one single person talking about everything, because, I had my part, Jessica had hers, we had Grace, we had MC Yinka, we had many people, but, they said stuff that I would say too. And probably I said stuff that they would say too. So it was like me talking all the way, or Jessica talking all the way, and expressing okay, we had separate experiences, like Grace when she was in the kindergarten. Okay, I've never been in a kindergarten, but there has been a similar misconception in many situations. But, great job. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having that song. That song means a lot. That's my life. But I think it's many the kids that were born at the 1980s and 90s. This is our life. This is what happened for most of us. So thank you.
Yeah, and I think because people are asking questions about when was the film started, the whole work started around 2017, and then we filmed, and then the pandemic hit. So it does feel like it's been ages, but it's actually just been like, we haven't seen each other properly for 2 years because we can't see each other, and we have to put into context the pandemic, but also our stories as Afro-Greek is ongoing. So this is also an ongoing story. Every day, new things occur. And this is Greece. Like, we are from Greece, where everything can change in one day. If something changes, it changes for everyone. And it's a very important thing to remember, that the fact that we were the first to give ourselves the chance to say the story by ourselves was very important for me personally, but also for the essence of our community as Afro-Greek. Because as Jerome is saying, it's interesting to see that that could all be me, and I grew up in the most rural part of Greece, in the north. Their stories could be my story. Yes, there are differences, and there are differences in how we experience them, but it's always being able to see each other. So my next question is about that, seeing each other. Your music, you said that's your life. But when I listen to it, I mean, I'm not old. I wasn't born in that time, Jerome. So I'm like, wow, this is what you're going through with that song, my man. But I understand.
The first thing are we talking about ages now? It's like, why?
I'm joking. I am joking.
Don't go there.
But I like to give respect to the generation of Jerome, to the generation of MC Yinka that actually started the conversation about our existence as Afro-Greek, because for some reason, it felt like we didn't exist, but we actually do. And there's an invisibilization that happened to people of Afro-Greek before your generation. And I think your generation, first of all, gave us a language and also a reason to fight for our visibility, and a reason to also be able to take ownership of the story. So my question is about solidarity. When I came to Greece and I texted all of you guys. That was, I think, because I live in Greece and out of Greece since 2016 now. So I'm like, hey, I'm coming home and I'm going to do this. And I feel the need to say this, that it feel like I wasn't by myself. Everybody's like, oh, you're doing this? Yes, we're doing this. So do you want to talk about the solidarity within the community of Afro-Greek, even though people think we're small, but we're small and mighty and connected? How do you feel as one of the people that started this conversation, actually, Jerome?
Wow. Listen, I don't feel that I started any kind of conversation. Making the album or making my artistic movements, the first things that I made, I decided one thing. I just wanted to speak my truth, the truth about myself. And I believe what may speak for everybody is that I decided how I will be defined. I mean, there's a thing, before I answer a question, there's a question that most of us have been asked, like, if your country goes into war with Greece, who would you support? So that's funny. At first, that's funny, right? But it underlines something that, you need to choose. Mm-hmm. You need to choose something. You need to say, I'm this, or I'm that, or I'm not that anymore. So I said, I'm both. I was born here, but my mom, I speak both of the languages. I look African, I feel African, I eat African food, I adore the music, I know everything that is culturally related to Africa, Congo, and the rest of Africa. So why should I choose? Why should I lie? Why should I say that I'm this? No, I'm both. I'm both. So that's how I said Afro-Greek, and many of us said Afro-Greek because we are both. We cannot wake up tomorrow and some of us at our 40s, some of us at our 30s and say, oh, we're Greek and we look like Greek. Mono. They won't believe us. They will say, come on, man. So what's the backstory? Mm-hmm. So we are both, and we should be proud to be both. And maybe we discovered that the courage of being both. But everybody should be both. And the solidarity thing you said, we're working on it. We're still humans. Okay, that's not... okay, we have appropriation matters that, there's a brother, there's a sister, and we have to be like... But, we're still human beings. So we are working on it. And we're getting closer than before. And we're getting there, and it's really, really amazing. I had a gig like 2 years ago, and like 25 people, Afro Grecos came, and the party was lit, and you felt the presence of your own. And it was sweet. It's great. I'm full with the guys, with the Afro Greek nation. Let's say nation, community. How do we call it?
I would say community, but can we have mini nations?
I'll say nation. It's more.
I don't like the concept of nation, but yeah, I understand.
It's a new concept, so we can make it better. We can make it better. Okay, community. Whatever.
Yeah, thank you. Jessica.
So can you ask the question again? Because
yes, so
Jerome μιλούσε πολύ, ας πούμε, και ξέχασα την ερώτηση.
Yeah. Okay, Jerome is a performer, he's an artist, so sometimes he's performing for us, and Jessica was just lost. So let me question. My question is about solidarity, the fact that we as a community, I grew up in the north of Greece, and the two of you are from Athens. You grew up in Athens, and there's always this community, even within Greece, people who are from the north don't really kind of mix with people from the south or stuff like that. But within the Afro community, even when you're far away from each other, even when I don't live in Greece anymore, like when I moved away from Greece to study or to do a work or whatever, I could always come home and be like, hey, Jess, I'm doing this film. Are you in? So I was talking about solidarity. How have you seen that change through the years, especially in context of what's going on in Greece and what has been going on in the world? Everything keeps changing. There's always changes and changes. There are different evolution of communities. What do you think about the solidarity within our Afro-Greek community? And how that relates dynamically with the contemporary Greek community as a whole?
Well, when it comes to the Afro-Greek community, now, to be honest with you, I don't know about others that lives outside of Athens because I'm not really, like, I haven't actually been that connected with anyone that is out of Athens. So when it comes to Athens, I think that especially those that are at the center of Athens, we're kind of close to each other because of our families. You know, they know each other, our parents know each other. So we have had this opportunity to grow up together in a way. So I can say that for me, like, because I don't know about everyone. For me, it was I was brought up in Abelokipi, which wasn't having that much of Black people. But the primary school I was going to was an intercultural, I think that's how it's called, primary school, which was full with all cultures. Like you could see literally any country in that primary school. So I remember that, you know, so like my first friends, before primary school, my how do you call it?
Kindergarten.
Yeah, kindergarten. Yes. So my first, it's so funny because my first actual contact with, let's say, foreigners was my kindergarten school, which was a Filipino school. And I was like an African person in a Filipino school. So I even learned about the Filipino culture, kind of. And then from there, I went to the intercultural primary school, which is that place I connected with my Afro-Greeks, like the Afro-Greek community. And that is how like I was close and I get to know more people. So by the time, you know, I started growing up and stuff, okay, Facebook was there, Instagram started coming up, and somehow through events, like mini events, African festivals, gatherings, birthdays, community parties, that's how I get to, you know, get connected. So now 2022, let me say 2022, we are connected, especially now that Afro beats has become a thing. It has become like a worldwide thing. The African culture now has become really famous in a way. So I guess I can say that they are beginning to know us, you know, like they know us. And especially since Adéọlá also came out, they know all of a sudden that Afro-Greeks are existing. So let's say it's a kind of a push. It's a kind of a push for them to know that, oh, we really do have Black Greeks over here. Wow. Because to this very extent, although in Athens we are so many, like the community is much, still when I go to the center, which is, let's say, Monasteraiki, Isio, Santa, and, you know, whenever we pass and stuff, they still ask us in, you know, English, can I help you? Would you like to come in? And then when you hit them with the Greek, like, oh, Hifkaristo, like, no, thank you. They'll be like, what? You speak Greek? Wow. Or you enter inside the taxi. It's still the same thing. Like, I want to go this place, and you say it in Greek, and they'll be like, really? You speak Greek? Oh, so how come? And I'm like, I went to school here. You went to school here? Oh, wow. Wow, your Greek is so good. So to this very extent, they are still surprised. Like, I don't know when that will stop. I don't know if it's going to stop. But eventually, just because of Afrobeats and, you know, the music has become a thing now, they're beginning to enter more into our culture. So, yeah, to answer your question, the Afro-Greek community is connected in a way. Not everyone, obviously, but we have our little gatherings and places we see one another. And if it comes to the Greek community adapting, like getting to know us, Slowly, it's getting there. I don't know if I.
Yeah, thank you for answering the question. I think I have two questions for you guys. So there's a next one that I'm going to specifically ask Jerome about. Because it's funny because I know you guys and I just want to focus on the good things, right? Because there's always things to talk about being in a multi-diverse country, reason for existing, visibilizing ourselves, being able to be part of the national discourse or whatever discourse is going on. But my question is, as an Afro-Greek or Jerome, what is the one thing that continuously gives you joy, that is a connection of both of your culture and also a connection of just you as a person, because you're Afro-Greek when you're Jerome and you're like, yeah, I do this thing and I look at myself like, ish, that's very Greek, or that is actually very Afro-Greek. Not only Greek, but like very Afro-Greek. And especially for Jerome, because you said something earlier about you do all these things that you do as an artist to make sure that the next generation are able to say, I can do that. That means, do you get joy from knowing that people will say, I can do that? Because you make me think I can do things, because you go all about like, Padu in after Swantropos, Padu.
I actually had like two people telling me that, you know, they were inspired, and I was really, really, really moved because I say that now, but I wasn't thinking of myself like I could inspire people. I just do what I do. And because I saw somebody looking like me doing what he can do, his job, like singing or acting. So I said, I can do that. So if one says that I can do that and I can be better than Jerome, it's like I won. It's like I won. So I don't know if it's a goal, but it makes me happy. Gives me joy. It used to be lonely. Mm-hmm. It used to be lonely, but you know, now we are many. And it's great. It's great because we have talents. It's great because we have another, what can you say? We have another mentality. We bring something different to the table. We bring color, not in a way of a black man or a black woman getting into, but we bring color. The way we do things, even in our music, our dancing, our theater, is a little bit different. So we bring that color. So it's important. My music gives me joy. People that are connected through my music give me joy, because I don't have only Greeks or only Africans. I don't have Chinese yet, but you know, I'm still there. I'm trying. But you know, people getting together because I sing or I'm in a theater, it's like, wow, you know, it's bigger than me. Mm-hmm. And I'm humbled. So that's it.
Okay, thank you.
That's it, yes.
I love that. I love the fact that you said we bring color, not in the color of our face, but it's also about the nuances that we bring to the conversation, the understanding of the depth we bring to a conversation, because it's also just not about what people see, because there's a difference. Like when I moved to Athens, I was working in an NGO, and it's everybody getting surprised to be like, you speak Greek very well. When I go to meetings, I'm like, I wouldn't come to this meeting if I don't speak Greek. But it's also the understanding of multiplicity of being as a person. So thank you for that answer. Yeah. My question to Jessica is about going all the way back to when we actually first met. I used to be a professional runner, and Jessica was also a runner at the time. And it's funny because me coming from the north, I just like never see anybody but me and my sister at any competition, whether it's national, regional. And then I see Jessica. And I remember when I moved to Athens in 2015-16, I was working again with Jessica and Melissa. And we had this conversation with younger children, like younger people, like people way younger than us, talking about when we actually saw each other, how Jessica was like, who is that? and I saw her too at a competition. I was like, she looks Nigerian. And it's and then we talked, of course, and everybody went back, and then we never see each other again, because sometimes we're not even in the same category, so we don't actually see each other. But I remember talking to Jessica about when I moved to Athens, there was a little kid that was telling me like, oh, I always wanted to go swimming, but I've never seen anybody else do it. And my mom said I should go to basketball. And me and Jessica were just like, go swimming. It's whatever. And I wanted to ask Jessica, because Jessica also has a son who is now a 4th generation Afro-Greek. What does it look like in terms of just seeing people doing the things you always wanted to do and not having to think of like, I can't do that? Because now, way back, it's not like we were. Like, children are everywhere. They're musicians. There is Jerome taking over all the national theater stages. There is Jessica taking over dancing and gyms. And there are people who are lawyers, and there are people who are bankers, there are people who are outside. But how does it make you feel know that your son will grow up with a very different visualization of what he can do as an Afro-Greek?
Sorry. Well, sorry γιατί θα ακούσετε και λίγο background φωνές τώρα. So, how it make me feel? Well, I am super happy to see that a lot of, because now if you go to running, like if you go to competitions now, you will see more of Black people, both male and females. And it makes me feel happy because, as she said, like when I would go to competitions, even if it's international, like I would be like, yo, where are my people at? Like, I am the only person here. And if I mess up, everybody will remember me for life. So now I am like, now, especially in the team which I was training, which is Panelinos, I have seen a lot of our Nigerian people that bring their children, people that actually the reason why they even took their children there is because they knew I was training there. So this gives me joy. It gives me joy because I see that, you know, now they're more open. Their mind is more open. It's not just basketball, because everything we know about in our African community is just basketball.
Yeah, my coach also pushed me to basketball in Uganda. I was like, that is not my area. I don't know her.
Yeah, there are kids there's so many kids that are talented in so many things in terms of sports, but because of their parents don't know much about that, other sports, or maybe they're insecure, like they feel like they cannot make it the way they would make it if they go, you know, for basketball or football. So whenever they want to do something other than that, they would be like, nah, you know, or sometimes also it has to do with economical issues. So the fact that Panelinos also helps in a way that if you do not have that much, you know, still they're okay with it. Some children go there free. They train, you know, freely. So I'm actually very happy that I see that our community now is, you know, thinking out of the box and are, you know, allowing the kids to do more. Obviously, yes, I was a former athlete of track and field sprints. So yes, I'm going to put my son also in running, but if he chooses to do something else that maybe I have never thought of, I would be like, yeah, go for it. Like, why not? So it's to answer your question, yes, I'm very happy to see that, you know, there are other Afro-Greeks in track and field, and not only in track and field, in also other sports like I didn't even know that existed. And yeah, I'm super proud.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So I'm going to go to questions from the audience now, and we will answer everybody's question. Please send your question, whether they're in English or Greek. I will read both, and we would answer the question as we go if it's needed. So there's this question about, it's interesting to me, the wording you're using, we, the Afro-Greek, are new people. I would love to hear more about this if you have the time or desire later. Who want to go next? Jerome, do you want to go?
Yep. So what's the question?
It's a question about the word, like the word Afro-Greek, because also we have to be very vocal about this. Like, this is a word we coined as a community. I don't remember specifically who coined it first, but it's a word that started going around in 2017, 2016, or even before, maybe even before. So in Greek reality, Afroelina, Afroelinida, it's a new word. And also I think in literature generally, it's a new word. So I think Elena's question is, it's interesting as a word. Why do we say we're a new people? Because maybe we're not.
Listen, okay, it is new. It is new in a matter of knowing thyself, in a matter of realizing who you are and how you want to be looked at. Let's go back to the 80s. If an African came to Greece and somehow over the time obtained the Greek nationality, he became Greek. Even in, I don't know what happens in Nigeria, but in Congo, there's an old law which forbids you to have two nationalities. Although many politicians do have two nationalities, but they forbid you to have two nationalities. So also in Congo, you have to choose. So back in the day, you had to choose. And that thing happened. Why? Because many of us had paper issues. Many of us didn't obtain the Greek nationality the time we were supposed to obtain it. Some of us haven't got it yet. Some of us got it, but it's a little bit, it's a mix. It's a mess. And at the time, when you look at yourself, you're 25, you're 30, you're 32, you're 35, you're 39, you're still an African. You have an African passport, doing whatever you want to do, taking trips, working. You have an African passport and a permit and avia paramones. So you're still African. You're still African. So we chose, let's say I chose to be both, because I was both legally, emotionally, and I realized that I'm both. I cannot say that I'm only Greek. That's impossible, because my parents are not Greek. They come from Congo. They came in Greece in 1976. So I'm not Greek 100%. But I cannot say I'm Congolian 100% because I've never been to Congo. Athens is my country, my country. I'm not saying my city, only my country, my home. I was born in Athens. I was inspired to do things in Athens. My friends are in Athens and Thessaloniki also. But Greece is the place that created what you see as Jerome and Gerasimos. This is Greece. So I cannot choose one. That's how I chose to be both, because I come from somewhere and I was born somewhere else and I grew up here, and that's the story so far.
Okay, thank you. I hope that answers your questions, Eleni. Jessica, do you want to say more? Is there something you want to add to what Jerome already said?
Well, I don't have much to say, as he said it. I even mentioned that in the video, for me.
And I also want to explain to Lenny, just to answer a question, is that before 2008, a lot of us know, even you feel that you're Greek, but we didn't have a word to feel that we're Greek nationally in terms of citizenship. Some of us are nationally Greek because our parents were able to naturalize and our parents were Greek. So then technically when we are born or when we get here, we become Greek. But that is not the common story for all of us. As I think somebody said in the video, Kireza, there was a legal loophole that is like a limbo for a lot of people that are Afro-Greek or even just Greek with children, parents that are migrant, that might technically still have their parents' nationality or no nationality, because there's also that concept of people that were stateless because maybe your parent cannot give you their passport, or maybe your parent forgot to do a paperwork. And then you realize when you're 18, I need to provide paper because you need an Greek ID card to go to university, or you need a Greek ID card to register to, to buy a car, to go to work, and also for men or boys, realizing you can't go to the Greek military for your service because you're not Greek, and all your friends are like, oh, I'm going to Fadaros, and you're just like, my paper never came. So there are stories that are very different even within the Afro-Greek community, but I think it became a necessity for us to name ourselves after we started talking more about it, and also realizing that the limbo was being addressed, acknowledged legislatively, and then moving forward, then also socially. Because I think when something happened legislatively, there's a ripple effect, there are more Afro-Greek speaking out. And then, of course, when I talk about become a thing internationally, then people were like, because Jerome has been a singer before, you have been it's just the lack of spotlights, and the more spotlight there is, then you get called to like have a name for yourself. So we don't really know if you are like the first people to use this word, but we know that we are the people using it now, and it's our word. And to us, we're new. So I guess I hope that answers the question.
And you know what? Let me add something else.
Yeah.
Afro-Greco is a mix of Africa and Greece. Take all the countries of Africa and Greece. You have many people, many Africans that have married Greek girls, white Greek girls. We have many, and men,
yeah,
and have babies now. So you have new babies, you have new people. So you have those new people. It is new. It is something that people that were in the 70s or the 60s cannot relate to, cannot easily describe that, because it's something that is happening now.
Yeah. Thank you, Jerome. So the next question is, somebody's asking for your music. Ileana already took care of that.
Yes.
And we have a question that I guess is like addressed to me. Is this an ongoing research? Yes, it is. As our stories evolve, as we evolve as a community, the story continues. When we filmed this, we filmed a lot more people. Personally, I filmed a lot more people. There's a lot more footage, but also the reality is you have to start somewhere. And sometimes the overwhelming story can overwhelm you as a researcher. Personally, for myself as a researcher, to be like, okay, where do I even start? But I was like, I need to put something out there, because it's also what Jessica was saying. It's not about not wanting to talk for yourself. It's like, I am a researcher. I research other things. I create film for other things. I create content for other things. Why am I watching people tell my story? And this happened when you work in the NGO sector. Personally, when I used to, people coming into Greece from other places and wanting to create an analogy of our experiences with African American, with Black British people, with Afro-Italian. And it will never be the same story. So we need to tell the story the way it is. Like, yes, we relate to our diasporic connections, but we don't share the same stories. I remember going to an event in the UK and in the university, and somebody talking about, oh, you're really from Greece? And I'm like, you're really from London? Because why are you asking me these questions? And it makes sense, because they've never been able to see it. And in the context that in Greece, a lot of our things is in Greek. A lot of people don't speak Greek. I think if you can count the number of people worldwide who speak Greek, it will probably be maybe 50 million people. So it also kind of take us out of the global conversation. And we need to have a conversation nationally first before we can have global conversation. But so this research will evolve as we evolve. A lot of the people in the film are back in Greece. A lot of us are not in Greece anymore. And that's also a reason of context, like the migration story continues. So the research continues forever. Another question. Whoa. Somebody's calling me. Another question. Okay, sorry. They like the title song. Okay, that's about the song. Thank you. Thank you for this documentary and discussion. I'm an anti-racist activist, and I have a strong interest in African history and culture. I live in Athens and would love to be in touch with Afro-Greeks. Let me know how I could do that. Is there a Facebook group I could join? Jerome, do you want to talk about this?
Sorry.
Okay.
You know what? There's not a Facebook page that he could join, or she. I don't know if it's a he or a she.
It's a
but it's a she. Okay, but we are there. There is my page. There's a Bantu dancers page where our girls are being dancing like really strong every weekend. It is, Jessica?
Every Wednesday and every Saturday. Yeah.
I remember it was every Sunday.
It was weekend.
Going out.
No, it was every Saturday.
Yeah. he can follow the girls. He can go to Anasa, right? We have Anasa,
yeah,
our cultural center. He get in touch with Michalis, Michael. He can take some classes, some courses. He can, we are there. We are here.
Yeah. And I think to add to that, there are also a lot of formal and informal organization of people of African descent, but generally also just cultural center, like you said, with Anasa and where Jessica teaches. And also there is a lot of work being done generally just within the communities. It's a little bit of like, it's funny to say this, but if you want to find African people, you just have to go to their communities. And sometimes it's going to Anasa, sometimes it's going to a demonstration, sometimes it's just going to the theater to see Jerome. It's the same way you would find any other research, I guess. I don't think there's a Facebook group specifically for this purpose.
Generation 2.0 also?
Yeah, Generation 2.0 have it's more of a legal structure and lobbying organization for general migrants of second generation with Afro-Greek leadership. So that's also a place you could look at. And Melissa, because Jessica, your mom works at Melissa, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, women's organization. So there's a lot of places, and I used to work there too.
And African restaurants, maybe?
Oh, yes, African restaurants. I think that's the
some food?
Kipseli, African restaurants, Abelo Kipus, African restaurants. There's just a lot. That's it. Start eating some food and talk to people.
Eat some food. Go to Kribri in Platea Kipseli, which has Congolese food. So, food can bring us together, closer.
Yes. I don't think we have any more questions. I'm looking at the questions just to be sure. Yeah. If we have any more questions, ask, but otherwise, I would like to continue asking my audience questions. Well, my people, really. Jerome, what are you working on right now? What is the thing that you're currently doing in all of the many, many things that you do? I know you're in the media, you're doing a lot of TV now.
Yes, we have a TV show called Yomosima Maido. It will air this Saturday. It will be every Saturday and Sunday at 8 o'clock. That's something great because it's my first time on national TV, and it's an honor. It's great. It's great. Good staff, good actors, great director, and it's a story that's we think it's funny. So. And I have a part I cannot reveal many things now, but I urge you to watch it.
Can I ask a question about that? Because I remember when I was younger, when there will be an Afro-Greek or any Afro descent person on TV, they will always have to speak in some very funny language.
Yeah.
And I always wonder why, because I'm like, all the Afro-Greek I know speak proper Greek. Like there's no... why are we speaking like we're from America or something? Like, it's just very weird. So in this current role, do you actually speak properly like a Greek person, or do you have because this is a directorial decision, right? Like there's a lot of directorial decision to order people. So you make them speak different. So how does it work in your current film?
So the current film is like I'm speaking Greek normally. I play an angel or God. So I speak like normally. That's the only thing I want to say. But to go to your question is that, okay, there are two situations. The one is that our parents do speak like broken Greek, if we can say broken Greek. Okay, so if we are portraying our parents or somebody who just came to Greece and we're telling their story, okay, broken Greek are justified. If you're playing a young guy or girl, broken Greek are not justified, and we've fought. We've said that 20-year-old or 25-year-old kids don't speak like that. They know Greek. They've been to school, but it depends. It's not directorial. It's the one who writes the story. You have the guy who writes the story, you have the guy who directs the story, and you have the guy who pays for the story. So those guys who do all these three pillars, they decide to who they are addressed to. If they are addressed to somebody who is more conservative or does not know, is not affiliated or used to the idea of African guy or girl speaking to clean Greek, they feel the need. I feel the need that they have to introduce Africans, those creatures. They have to introduce them by having them speaking a little bit broken. We fought about that, and if we are portraying our parents or somebody who just came, we can support that. Other than that, I think we are done with that. We are speaking proper Greek.
Yeah, thank you.
From now on.
Because I have watched a lot of Greek shows when there will be that one African, and I'm like, I know this person. Like, I know they speak proper Greek. Like, yes. So why are they speaking like this right now?
It depends on the story,
Okay, there's another question from Akis Kokinos. Hi, Aki. Yasutikanis. Will the research continue taking the form of documentary films, or would you also consider other ways of presenting the research? For me personally, as a multi-format artist, the research continues in multiple formats. Like the research for me as an Afro-Greek myself continues in writing, singing, being there will be multiple, like I think it's also, just to say with this project, there's also a photography perspective of it. Like there's portraiture of all the people in the film. So it emerges and becomes something new all the time. It could be an academic piece. It could just be an event. It could be this, but I wanted the first thing to be the documentary because I wanted us in history to be archived. I feel there's a need to archive ourselves because many other people can do the same project. But the question is, are they doing this type of project? Is this kind of nuance? Does it have this kind of authority and agency that we talk for ourselves? And I wanted to have the conversation with people in this format first, but it continues and it evolves into many, many forms. I think even the research is following one of us maybe in the future to see how they evolve, what they're doing now. Jessica's child. What is Jessica's child doing in 500 years? Well, okay, I will not be here in 500 years, but it is to build a foundation that is for us. So it will be in multiple format. Thank you, Ari, for the answer, the question. Can we hear a live song? I don't think so, because I think Jerome literally just came back from the theater before this, and I feel like the energy level will be overstimulated both for Jerome and both for the audience.
They can go to YouTube, but you can go to YouTube.
You can follow him on Spotify. He has his album there, but also you can just keep up with Jerome on his page. He shares a lot of his work, and his work is amazing, both in theater. Don't miss to see him in theater. My next question is for... There's no more questions, actually. Okay, my next question is, what do you guys want to ask me? Because my question is a very important question, actually. Do you feel justifiable? Like, do you feel like the work represent you and give you what you would like to say? Like, there's a difference between speaking for someone and giving them the mic. How do you feel now that we are here? Jessica, you have to go.
Well, how I felt. I actually said in the beginning how I felt about the video, which I said that I felt that, yes, I said at that point of my life, it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, yes, what I said was what I stand for and what I, that's how I could express myself and what happened to me during that time. So, if it was now, of course, I would have more things to say. I would have a different way to express myself, and maybe even in terms of that question, that that was a point at the end, which I said, do I feel more of Greek and more of African at this point of my life? Ever since, let's say that, okay, yes, I've been listening to African music. I've been a dancer in traditional and modern African dancer, and I teach at this current time. But I feel like the more the years passes by, I feel more connected with my African roots. I don't know if it has to do with because now my circle is more of, my African people. I have, when it comes to the Greek community, I feel like I have this need to present this Africanness, this need to make them understand that, because some people, I've heard some people say that we are lost souls and we don't know where we stand for. Yes, I have heard that. We are lost souls and we don't know where we stand and we are confused and da 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 da. So for me, at this point of my life, I am more connected with my African roots, but still, I am still here to this very moment in Greece. Like I could leave like tomorrow. I could have leave a year ago. I don't know. But the reason why I'm still here is because I want to break some. How am I gonna say? I want to break some walls, like the stereotype of we cannot make it here. There is no future here. I feel like if you really want something, just as Jerome and every other person that is doing things over here in Greece, if you really want something, you have to chase it and have an open mind. Yes, there are doors that are going to close. I have had multiple of doors that has closed, and I've also had multiple open doors that has come at this place. And the person I am today it's still in Greece. Like I'm still in Greece and doing my thing. So I want to show also mostly to our community that you don't need to run out for you to become someone. You can also take this opportunity of being a new thing. You can also take this opportunity of how am I going to say, being the only person, because it's a good thing at one side, and build something that could help also the generations. Like when they see you doing all these things and making it through, they will also, as Jerome also said before, they will also want to do it and do even better. So my answer to if I feel more or less of both sides, I would say that I truly appreciate staying here. I could not imagine myself living any other place because this is where I was brought up. And also I am very connected with my roots because I know that at the end of the day, nobody wants to lose who, he or she is.
Yeah.
Like I appreciate this place. I am super proud of saying that I speak Greek because anytime, other people come and they're like, you speak Greek? Oh my God, girl. Like, that language is a very difficult one. And I'm like, yeah, I speak and I write Greek. You feel me? So I brag about it. I brag about it so much. And my goal now, like being at this age, my goal now is to also be the way I can speak this language fluently. I want to also speak my language fluently. I want to be in both sides, let's say, kind of 50-50 in a way. Feel me?
Yeah, thank you. I think we have no more other questions, but I want to end with that. For me to say, this is a community work. This is a storytelling. We are storytellers. I feel like a lot of time we just go back to what we always know, telling our own stories as people of African descent. But honestly, I tell people this: I'm Greek and African. I'm Nigerian and Greek. It's a coalition of craziness that is great. That is built on big storytellers. That is built on people that create philosophies. So a lot of time, I'm Afro Greek. It's just it is that's just what it is. That there is no difference between what you are or what you will do. But I think for me, what brings me joy on this project specifically is also doing it with other Afro Greek. It's not me waking up and finding someone saying, "Oh, I work for the Black lives of Black people in Greece," but there is actually no Black person or no Afro Greek in the leadership or in the community doing all this work. And I always wonder about that: about how are you going to talk about us without us? Like, is that not interesting? And also, it's as an artist, as an archivist, as a researcher, Yeah, sometimes you wonder why people talking about you and you're always like, I don't like what you're telling about me because it's not true, because it's your perception of the truth, but it's not my truth. It's also what Jerome said earlier about the way people speak on TV. Like my dad doesn't speak like that because my dad has been in Greek for years and he's in the north. And when I speak Greek here in Belgium, people look at me because I have a northern accent of Greek. Like my Greek is very yanotiko. It's up there. So it's from the north and it's a story that should be told. And it's a story that is being told by me. And for me, I think because it's being told by me with other people that look like me, I enjoy and appreciate that level of agency that I now have. So thank you for helping me tell the stories. Thank you for helping me have a word for who we are, Jerome and Jessica and all the Afro-Greek community. Yeah, I think that's it. Just thank you.
Can I tell you something before we call it a night?
Tell me before we call it a night.
First of all, I want to thank you for having me and having all of us. Because as we said, it's the first time that all of these people and the people that we didn't see in the video are being documented, speaking proper Greek and telling the story from our side. So that's very important because, okay, I've done interviews, MC Yinka has done interviews, and everybody has been speaking on their side. Jessica has been an interviewer. Not only, I saw her interviewing and I said, wow, I gotta meet her. And, and I sent her a message, it was like, if I want to meet someone, I just text him like, hi, how are you? I want to meet you. Maybe, these days you youngsters make it feel like it's a little bit freaky, but, I was amazed that I said, okay, there she is. She's the one. She's,
Yeah.
She was great. She was great at what she was doing. So I was like hyped. I said, I want to meet her. Mm-hmm. And I will take some of her words. She talked about doors. We focus on open doors, not closed ones. The Afro-Greek story is full of closed doors, insecurity, rejection. But, we take that one opportunity and make the best of it. Make whatever we can do. I don't feel the need to choose something because I have divided experiences. Yeah. You asked before about solidarity. So I don't know, you cannot remember that. Back in the day, in the 90s, the Zairian community, but we used to have African parties. Like in Elysia, there's a student home there. Η εστία, η φοιτητική εστία in Elysia. If you ask older people than you, they will tell you, your parents probably, they will tell you. And Africans used to do those parties and used to be there like Saturday night dancing and being together. There was a start. It didn't start over there, but there was a start. So we used to be together and we are together. Mm-hmm. And, thank you for bringing us together on that project. It's now, they say it's scripta mane. So whatever you write or record, it stays. And it's there now. Nobody can say that, people don't understand or many of them don't accept the word Afro-Greco, Afro-Elinas. They said, τι είναι αυτό? Let me say in Greek for our people, as you said before. Τι είναι αυτό? Does it exist? What's that? You guys, you want to be Americans? Like they say Afro-Americans, you want to be Afro-Greeks? Don't say, no, we don't want to be Americans. We want to be Afro-Greeks. We want to be ourselves.
Yeah. And
you gave this to us collectively. I may give it in my corner, Jessica in hers, and everybody in, you gave it to us collectively. And we thank you for that.
I'm gonna cry
again.
I'm sensitive. Okay, leave me alone.
Okay.
Thank you. You gave it to me, and we give this to each other. I think that's the power in this. For me, the power in this conversation is I want us to talk to us. You're my big brother. I want to talk to you about your experience. I want to talk to Jessica. Like me and Jessica might have had multiple conversations in different places, but I want this conversation to be recorded. I want to stamp us in history to say, we took the word and make it what we want to make it. So thank you so much, and thank you to everyone that joined us. Ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ σε όλους. Ευχαριστώ. Ελπίζω. Βασικά φοβόμουν για ένα πράγμα, γιατί αυτό που είπε ο Jerome, ότι ο κόσμος δεν δέχεται εύκολα να πεις ότι είμαι Αφροέλληνας, είμαι Afro-Greek και του λέει θες να γίνεις σαν τους Αμερικάνους. Όχι. Θέλω απλά να έχω δικιά μου ταυτότητα που να εκπροσωπήσει ολοκλήρως. Δεν χρειάζεται να είμαι Νιγεριανή σκέτο, Ελληνίδα σκέτο. Μπορώ να είμαι και τα δύο. Δεν χρειάζεται να τεμαχίσω τη ζωή μου, δηλαδή να είναι αυτό σήμερα σου δείχνω, αύριο σου δείχνω αυτό. Είναι όλα το ίδιο και είναι δυναμικά. Αλλάζουν, ιστορίες συνεχίζονται, οπότε ευχαριστώ και για το ελληνικό κοινό που μας ακούει αυτή τη στιγμή. Ευχαριστώ για την κατανόηση να μιλάμε στα αγγλικά λόγω του ευρύτερο κοινό για να κατανοηθεί και αυτό που λέμε, και σας ευχαριστώ όλους πάρα πολύ για όλα. Σας ευχαριστώ.
Ευχαριστούμε και εμείς.
Thank you.